So here's something that might look like fluff at first glance, and no, it's not the secret character people on Reddit found in the website's code. It's within the official character bios for Cyberpunk Edgerunners 2. There are two very specific bits of information I found very interesting: character birthdays and their blood type. That probably reads like background dressing, world building texture, the kind of detail you skim past on your way to the real information. But in Japanese storytelling traditions, and especially in anime culture, those two fields are never entirely accidental. Are we reading too much into what is essentially character sheet flavor? But these are interesting bits of information worth examining. In Japan, blood types are often used in a similar way to astrology in Western pop culture. While they don't determine a character's personality, creators often use them as a shorthand because many Japanese audiences are familiar with these stereotypes. We often see rough personality associations. Type A, structured, responsible, detail-oriented, sometimes anxious or perfectionist. Type B, creative, independent, unpredictable. AB being analytical, detached, often seen as dual-natured or complex. And then O, confident, natural leaders, sometimes dominant or stubborn. Anime and manga have used this shorthand for decades, even when it's not explicitly stated in the story. So when Edgerunners 2 assigns blood types to its cast, it is very likely doing one of three things: a subtle personality shorthand for the production team, a visual guide for character writing consistency, or cultural layer that anime audiences immediately recognize. Here's some prime examples I found on Wiki. For blood type A, typically associated with organized, responsible, hardworking, perfectionist, reserved, and sometimes anxious characters, we got Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan, Light from Death Note, and Sailor Mercury from Sailor Moon. For blood type B, usually portrayed as creative, individualistic, energetic, impulsive, and unconventional, we have characters like Luffy from One Piece, which, if you know his blood type in universe, is F, which is their version of the real life type B. Another character being Naruto from Naruto, also type B. For blood type AB, often depicted as analytical, mysterious, emotionally complex, or having two contrasting sides, we got characters like Tobio Kageyama from Haikyuu, which is a great character from a great anime about volleyball. Watch it if you haven't seen it before. We've also got Chrollo from Hunter x Hunter and Sasuke from Naruto, which is funny since D is also blood type AB. Yes, I know D is Cyberpunk Sasuke, we still love D. Let's apply that lens to what we briefly know. Weak Kingsley is type A. That immediately fits the idea of a disciplined, structured, possibly perfection-driven individual, which becomes interesting when you consider his situation, a former top-tier edgerunner who removed his crow. A fact that, if we take from the TTRPG of Cyberpunk, is most likely the reason he was able to bypass cyberpsychosis. That's one of the big things to do in the TTRPG to get humanity back, is to remove additional cyberware. D, as stated before, is type AB. This is the most narratively loaded category. AB characters in Japanese fiction are often framed as dual-natured or internally contradictory. That lines up cleanly with a nomad netrunner driven by revenge, but digging into corporate-level conspiracy. Revenge and logic, emotion and calculation coexisting in the same system, in the same person. Not to once again mention the clear connection to Sasuke from Naruto, who is also of the same blood type. Roman is also type A. That's interesting because it suggests rigidity, maybe even obsessive control over his craft. A media in Cyberpunk already lives in that space intellectually. Type A framing reinforces the idea of someone trying to impose structure and narrative coherence onto a world that resists it. We're looking for stories where there is none, or possibly finding stories where he dared not look. Talia is type A as well. That creates a pattern, 3 type A personalities in a world defined by chaos, which may be intentional contrast design, structured personalities placed into environments that constantly break said structure. If the pattern holds, it's not about literal prediction, it's about tonal alignment. But moving to birthdays in anime, these usually serve a different function. They are rarely plot relevant in their literal sense. Instead, they are often used for seasonal symbolism, personality framing, and subtle thematic reinforcement of characters. Japanese media sometimes links characters to seasonal moods in a loose symbolic way. Week's birthday is December 30, late winter, end of year, transitional period. This already feels symbolic of closure, decay, reflection. A character defined by past glory and present loss fits that framing almost too neatly. D is October 1st, early autumn, a period often associated with change, harvest, and transition. In storytelling terms, this is where planning begins to tighten, where long arcs start converging. that fits a character whose revenge plot expands into something larger. Then we have Roman, July 20, Midsummer, peak visibility, high activity, exposure. That actually aligns well with a media character, someone who is constantly present, observing, documenting in the thick of events. Then we have Talia, April 2nd, early spring, beginning, instability, emergence. That maps quite cleanly onto a character shaped by two conflicting worlds, still forming identity rather than settled identity. Again, this is not hard evidence, it's tonal mapping. So does any of this actually matter? This is where it's important to be precise. These details are almost certainly not narrative spoilers. They are not likely to dictate plot outcomes, deaths, or specific story beats, but that doesn't mean they are meaningless. In anime production, especially at Trigger's level of intentional visual storytelling, small meta choices like this often serve a different function. They help the team maintain internal consistency in character voice and behavior, help animators and directors and performance identity, and they give audiences subconscious cues about how to read a character before they even speak. If there's a pattern here, it's not predictive, it's interpretive. Blood types and birthdays are not telling us what will happen. They are hinting at how to feel about each character. They are framing devices, and in a series like Edgerunners, framing is everything. This Night City does not have a single truth, it only has perspectives. Which loops back neatly to the show's central idea, how your lens reflects the stories of the people around you. Even the character bios are part of that lens. Thanks for watching. Last video did so well, the response was awesome. It made me want to continue doing this. Hopefully the algorithm is kind to me once again. If you look in the description, there is a code for anyone who plays a Cyberpunk tabletop RPG. It will send you to the Artas Orient Games store where you can get a little bit off, and it also supports me. I also run a Cyberpunk tabletop RPG session on the channel Relic Rats. If you want to see someone play the TTRPG and see how it goes, check that out too. But I've been Nermian, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Cyberpunk is so awesome. Wow. Spinal fluid pumping strong. The night drags long. Every scar fuels my beat. I don't quit. I don't retreat.